The Republic of Korea has been very successful in harnessing the demographic dividend. Today, we welcome Mr. Yong Jae Lee, social policy expert of ESCAP. He will shed light on what he calls the demographic dividend
success story.
Mr. Yong, please tell us a little bit about the context of harnessing the demographic dividend in the Republic of Korea.
초기 산업화 단계에서 인구 배당 효과는
This depends on connecting demographic structures and national policies to develop human capital and promote economic growth. It occurred with the Republic of Korea's baby boomer generation, which emerged from 1953 to 1963. It grew to form 7.3 million people, or 24% of the country's total population. The expanding labor force spurred rapid economic growth in industries from textiles to heavy metals. In fact, between 1955 and 2017, GDP per capita grew 25 times, from around $1,500 to over $37,000, on a parallel annual average growth rate of 5.3%. Also, the total fertility rate fell from 7.0 to 1.1 children per woman, and life expectancy at birth increased from 49 to 83 years. Yet, these changes were not only due to increasing population size. For this economic miracle, relevant policy foundations had to be laid 10 years earlier. The government introduced compulsory education to eradicate illiteracy, and several higher education institutes were built to meet the future demands of the growing manufacturing industries.
기여하게 됩니다.
Thank you. Now please explain the implications in the context of the workforce.
1950
From 1955 to 2017, the proportion of people of working age, namely aged 15 to 64, rose from 55 to 72%. Thus, demographic changes created incentives for people to invest in human capital and participate in the labor market.
Please tell us how this affected women.
한국의 빠른 경제 성장 기간
Actually, the effects were stronger for women than men. The female labor force participation rate went from 28% in 1960 to 54% in 2015. Also, the average year of schooling increased from 4.2 to 12.7, the most rapid expansion of human capital ever recorded globally. Again, the impact was higher among females than males.
Is there a way to measure the impact of the demographic dividend?
Yes, an economic method based on the growth accounting framework shows that more than a third of the overall annual real GDP growth per capita since around 1960 is attributable to the demographic dividend. In addition, gender inequalities in the labor market fell. For example, the ratio of female to male earning rose by over 20 percentage points between 1980 to 2015. The consequences of the demographic transition were not limited to economic growth. Critical health indicators also improved with rapid reductions in infant and maternal mortality.
What was done in the Republic of Korea to make these changes possible?
Significant investments were made in higher education, particularly for women. There is a dedicated government agency for gender equality, and women's empowerment has increased in diverse sectors, especially in politics and business. Between 1960 and 1970, family planning supported these changes. For example, in 1965, contraceptive prevalence was only 16%. By 1985, it had reached 70%.
Please say a bit more about the context of harnessing the demographic dividend in the Republic of Korea.
한국은 당시 우수한 인적 자원
The previously discussed changes occurred with a move from fishing and agriculture to large-scale manufacturing and high-tech industries such as semiconductors and robots.
변화시켜 나가고 있습니다.
Please tell us what you can share with other countries.
인구 배당 효과는 단순히
The demographic dividend can only be realized when demographic change is accompanied by adequate policies and significant investment at least 10 years in advance, due to the greater time lag of demographic policies compared to other policies. Robust data collection and analysis systems are also of fundamental significance. Countries must act early to benefit from this window of opportunity, with strong institutional arrangements to capitalize on education, healthcare, employment, and governance, the four pillars of the demographic dividend.
말할 나위도 없습니다.
Thank you for sharing insight into the successes of the Republic of Korea in harnessing the demographic dividend.